Undercover boss buys a tractor at his own dealership, could not believe what he hears from the customers behind him. IronRoots Tractors wasn't just a business. It was a living symbol of sweat, pride, and American soil. Born in the heart of rural Texas, the company was founded 40 years ago by Walter Granger, a man who had nothing but a combat medal, calloused hands, and an unshakable belief that American farmers deserved machines they could count on. Walter wasn't the kind of man to chase profits. He chased purpose. He'd built IronRoots from a barn workshop, welding parts by hand, testing each engine himself before sending it out to real ranchers. Word of mouth spread fast, and before long, IronRoots was supplying farming equipment to over 100 small towns across the USA. Each sale came with a handshake and Walter's personal guarantee. But time marched on. Now 68, Walter had stepped away 5 years ago, reluctantly handing the reins to a younger leadership team he thought shared his values. He believed he'd earned rest. After all, IronRoots had deep roots. What could go wrong? Then the letters started coming. A veteran from Oklahoma who paid for a brand new tiller but received a used demo model. A widow from Nebraska charged hidden fees on a basic repair. A fourth-generation farmer in Iowa whose tractor shut down mid-harvest because of a digital lockout he didn't even know existed. Then came the rumors: foreign knockoff parts, software paywalls, aggressive upselling, refunds denied. Walter didn't sleep that night. He stared at his old war photo, standing in front of a tank, and thought, I didn't fight to protect this country, just to watch vultures ruin what I built. By morning, his decision was made. He shaved the snowy beard that had become his signature, pulled on an old flannel, work boots cracked from age, a faded ball cap that used to hang in the IronRoots showroom. He left his gold watch on the dresser and walked out the door, not as Walter Granger, CEO, but as Hank, a tired old rancher with no clout, no name, and just enough cash to pretend he was shopping. When Hank walked into the flagship dealership in Cedar Hill, Texas, it hit him like a punch to the gut. No one looked up. The woman at reception was too busy texting. The young tech in the corner was watching a TikTok video. Two salesmen were laughing in a corner, not even noticing a customer had walked in. This wasn't the place he built. He moved slowly across the showroom floor, passing tractors he had once designed with passion and pride. The G200 Compact, a favorite among small farm owners. The Beast Tiller, built for brutal soil, and tucked in the back like forgotten junk. The Model R, the very first production model, still bearing the chrome emblem he forged himself. He reached out, touched its chipped paint, and whispered, I didn't leave you for this. Then came the voices, low, hushed, from the aisle behind him. But he recognized the weight in them: pain, frustration. Customer 1, Helen Martin, 58, horse rancher. They said it was new, Dan, but it had 30 hours on the meter. That's not light use, that's deception. And the GPS unlock fee? $2,000 just to use what's already built in? That's criminal. Customer 2, Dan Martin, 52, her husband contractor. They charged me $1,500 for a warranty I never asked for, then hit me with a $300 removal fee when I told them to take it off. This ain't IronRoots anymore. It's a dressed-up scam. Walter froze. He didn't know them, but he knew their type. Proud, hard-working, honest folks who had trusted his name, and now they were leaving defeated. His hands clenched into fists inside his jacket. His heart ached, not for himself, but for them. This is what they've done, he thought. Turned my legacy into a trap for the very people I swore to protect. That's when Travis Dean approached, late 30s, hair styled like he'd stepped out of a reality show. A fake Rolex flashed as he scrolled on his phone. His IronRoots name badge hung off his blazer like an afterthought. He looked at Hank with a smirk, the kind reserved for people you've already decided aren't worth your time. Travis, snickering. What's up, old-timer? Just browsing for nostalgia, or you got a farm that still runs? Walter kept his cool. He'd fought in wars. This wasn't the time to show fire. Not yet. Walter, Hank with a flat smile. Looking to buy. If it's worth my money, Travis, eyeing him up and down. With those boots? You'd be better off looking at Craigslist. Tractors here are for people who can afford quality. For a second, time stood still. Walter didn't respond. He just looked at Travis. Really looked. This was the man the company trusted to sell their heart and soul. This was the face of IronRoots now. His jaw tightened, but he didn't react. You'll show your true colors soon enough, he thought. He turned toward the G200 compact, his eyes sharp, silent. But inside, and the fire had started. Hey, I know so many of you come back to watch our stories, and it means the world. But the truth is, most of you watching right now still aren't subscribed. If you're one of them, please take a second and hit that subscribe button. It's completely free for you. And for me, it's the biggest support you could ever give. These stories take heart to tell. Let's keep telling them together. Hank sat down across from Travis Dean in one of the glossy, overdone finance cubicles, the kind Walter had never allowed when he ran the company. Fake leather chairs, chrome desk legs, a motivational poster of a tractor kicking up dust hung crooked on the wall. It all felt corporate, plastic. Walter played the role of a confused, quiet buyer, slouching slightly, asking simple questions, and letting Travis take the wheel. Travis, typing quickly, smug. So, Hank, the G200 Compact. Great pick. You're looking at our premium bundle. Got the rugged tire upgrades, smart controls, GPS unlock, tech sync system. You'll love it. Walter tilting his head slowly. Just need it for hauling hay and plowing. Don't reckon I need too much tech. Travis laughing loudly. Oh, come on now. It's 2025, not 1925. Everybody needs tech. Can't have your neighbors thinking you're outdated, right? Walter smiled faintly, masking his growing discomfort. Let him talk, he told himself. Let him bury himself. Travis spun the monitor toward him. The total price? $39,995. Walter's stomach dropped. The manufacturer's MSRP was $35,499. He knew because he had said it himself 5 years ago. And the so-called upgrades? $1,800 processing fee. For what? Walter didn't know. $3,000 tech upgrade suite, a subscription to unlock the GPS, engine power tuning, and smart diagnostics. Features that used to come standard. $450 documentation access, just to read the user manual digitally. And worst of all, a Thunder X engine. Walter leaned in, narrowing his eyes at the fine print on the spec sheet. Walter, voice low, jaw tight. This engine, it's not ours. Travis, chuckling, tapping the table. Bingo, good eye, old man. Thunder X makes them cheaper overseas. We swap them in before delivery. Looks the same, runs close enough, and the customer never knows the difference. Walter, deadpan. But it voids the warranty. Travis, grinning, flipping his pen. Only if they read the fine print. And let's be real, these folks. They're not buying tech journals. They just want something that looks big, sounds loud, and makes them feel like kings of the land. Walter didn't say a word. He just stared. This wasn't upselling. This was orchestrated, institutionalized fraud. He thought of Helen and Dan Martin again, the quiet anger in their voices. He thought of the letters, the farmer from Nebraska, the veteran from Oklahoma, and he thought of his name, now attached to this circus. His throat tightened with emotion, but he swallowed it down. Walter, softly. Mind if I take a look in the service bay before I decide? Travis, waving dismissively. Knock yourself out. Just don't trip over the grease, Hank. Walter walked through the side hallway, the same one he used to sweep himself at closing time. Every creak in the tile echoed a memory. He opened the heavy steel door to the service bay, where tractors were hoisted up like wounded soldiers, and that familiar smell of diesel, grease, and grit filled his lungs. And that's when he saw him, bent over an engine block. Clint Riley, early 60s, thick mustache, flannel shirt, hands covered in soot. One of the last remaining original IronRoots men. Clint, turning, wiping sweat from his brow. Whoa, didn't hear you come in. You knew. Walter, Hank. Thinking of buying. Needed a closer look at the work being done back here. Clint glanced around, leaned in, voice low. Clint, serious, Warren. You seem like the type that remembers how this place used to be. So let me give you the truth, neighbor. This ain't IronRoots anymore. Walter quietly. What do you mean? Clint, looking him straight in the eye. Ever since Walter left, it's been like this. Travis swapped out real engines for Thunder X garbage, cuts corners on repairs, charges customers for work we don't do. And anyone who speaks up? Gone. Walter stared at him. He could feel the weight of his past decisions. Maybe stepping away had been a mistake. Maybe trusting the wrong men had cost him everything. Clint, putting a hand on Walter's shoulder. You seem like a good man. Don't let them fleece you. You want real work? Go to Jimmy's in Maynard. He still does things the old way. Walter, holding back emotion. Thanks, Clint. You take care of yourself. He turned to leave, his hands shaking slightly. Rage, sadness, shame, all boiling beneath the surface. His legacy had been poisoned from the inside, and the people responsible weren't just bad salesmen. They were betrayers, thieves, liars, and now they were about to learn who they were messing with. Walter was just steps from the exit when something caught his ear. A soft, trembling voice. Tina Lopez, 26, worried. But we were quoted $42,000 online. That's what we budgeted. He paused, turned. A young couple sat across from Travis Dean, their posture tense, eyes full of quiet desperation. Jared Lopez, 28, wore a sun-bleached work jacket and oil-stained jeans. A calloused hand rested protectively on Tina's knee. Walter could tell. This man had spent his life in dirt, sweat, and sacrifice. Travis, smiling, leaning back. Yeah, well, that was a web-only flash deal. Expired now. You want quality or you want problems? Tina looked down, clutching a small folder of papers. Jared's jaw was clenched, his hand tightening. Walter took a slow step forward, listening. Travis, sharp now. Look, I've got another buyer lined up. If you can't commit now, I gotta move on. Price is $61,000. Platinum tier only. Tina's voice broke as she whispered, Tina, we sold my dad's old pickup to make the down payment. Walter's heart cracked. This wasn't salesmanship. This was exploitation, and it was being done in his name. Then Travis, seeing them hesitate, raised his voice even more. Travis, curt. Tick-tock. Decision time. Walter couldn't hold back any longer. He stepped forward, voice calm, but carrying the weight of thunder. Walter, firm. That's enough. Travis turned, surprised. So did Jared and Tina. Travis, mocking. You lost or something, Grandpa? This ain't the senior center. Walter didn't flinch. Instead, he slowly removed his cap, then his glasses. The room held its breath. The receptionist dropped her pen. A mechanic froze in the doorway. If you've been rooting for Hank this whole time, you're not ready for what's about to happen. Go ahead and subscribe now. This is the moment everything changes. Back to story. Clint, still wiping grease from his hands, muttered in shock. Clint, I'll be damned. Walter, level, powerful. I'm not Hank. I'm Walter Granger. I built this company with these hands, and you just tried to scam me out of my own tractor. Dead silence. Travis blinked, his smirk wiped clean. Tina covered her mouth in disbelief. Jared looked from Walter to Travis, as if suddenly understanding the entire crooked machine he'd just stepped into. Travis, stammering, backing up. Wait, this is some kind of prank, right? A setup? Walter stepped forward, his presence towering now. Walter, low, steady. No, this is reality. And reality just hit you in the face. He turned to Jared and Tina, his eyes softening. Walter, you're not paying a dime more than what was quoted. Not a penny. I'll personally deliver your G200 tomorrow. And it'll have the real IronRoots engine, the one we forged with American steel, the one this company was built on. Tina's eyes filled with tears. Jared clenched his jaw and nodded, holding back his emotion. A quiet dignity passed between the three. Then Walter turned to the staff and customers gathering around. His voice, low but full of fire, rose through the showroom like a storm. Walter, loud and clear. Everyone stop what you're doing. You need to hear this, all of you. People slowly drifted in. Mechanics, salesmen, the receptionist, even folks waiting for service leaned closer. Walter stepped up on the edge of the customer lounge platform, his voice echoing across the room. Walter, this company wasn't built in some boardroom. It was built in a busted-up barn behind my house, with a welder from a pawn shop and sheet metal I bought with a second mortgage. My wife, Diane, packed sandwiches every morning while I spent 14 hours a day on my feet, cutting frames and tightening bolts. We didn't have a name, just a dream, to build something honest, something ours. The room was quiet now. Even Travis didn't speak. Walter, emotional. We started with one tractor, sold it to a family in Missouri who were about to lose their farm. They paid us in payments. No credit check, no pressure. Just a handshake. You know what they sent us 6 months later? A letter. Said that tractor saved their land. Said it helped them survive the worst drought in years. He paused, wiping the corner of his eye. Walter, that letter is still in my desk, right next to Diane's photo. She passed before she could see what this place became. And I swore I'd protect the soul of this company. Then his face hardened as he turned back toward Travis. Walter, stern. But I walk in here today, and I see the soul of this place rotting. Lies, deception, engines swapped for knockoffs, fake fees, pressuring good people like they're marks in some sleazy con. He pointed to Travis. Walter, you're fired, effective immediately. And trust me, the state attorney general will know your name. You use this place like a racket. Not anymore. Travis panicked. You don't have that authority. I was told I run this branch. Walter, cutting him off. You were a placeholder in a chair I built, and now you're gone. Then Walter turned back to the employees. Walter, and if anyone else took part in this, if you swapped parts, pushed upgrades folks didn't need, or watched this happen and said nothing, you better come forward. Because I'm not leaving this company to vultures. Not after what it cost to build it. He scanned the room. Every eye was locked on him. Walter, final resolute. I'm Walter Granger, and I'm taking my company back. Over the next month, Walter rolled up his sleeves. Literally. He came in before sunrise, just like the old days. Oil-stained hands, grease on his jeans. The CEO title meant nothing now. He was just Walter, the man who built IronRoots from sweat, steel, and second chances. The first thing he did, rebuild the soul. He rehired Clint Riley full-time as lead service tech. Then reached out to Sarah Jensen, 35, a sharp, principled former saleswoman who had left IronRoots years ago when things started getting shady. Walter had mentored her himself back in her 20s. Walter, on the phone. I need someone who sells with integrity. You ready to come home? Sarah returned the next day. They didn't just fix the showroom, they fixed the reputation. Walter launched what he called the Make It Right campaign. Full refunds for any fraudulent fees. Free inspections and repairs for all customers affected during Travis's time. In personal apology letters signed by Walter himself, handwritten. One Saturday, they held a customer forgiveness fair in the dealership parking lot. Walter stood for hours shaking hands, fixing old tractor parts with Clint, and listening to the stories of betrayed farmers and contractors. Walter, during a team meeting. We don't sell machines here. We sell trust. You break that, you don't belong at IronRoots. He instituted new policies, no commissions, no upsells without full disclosure. Mandatory integrity workshops, led by Walter himself. Word spread like wildfire across the state. The ranchers came back, the contractors too. They told others. Word of mouth, just like the beginning. For the first time in years, IronRoots felt alive again. Not just as a business, but as a community. IronRoots was reborn. A few weeks later, the sky was gold with the late afternoon sun as Jared and Tina Lopez rolled out of the Cedar Hill lot in a brand new G200. No surprise fees, no fake upgrades, just honest work, paid for with hard-earned money. Tina smiled and waved from the passenger seat. Jared tapped the horn twice and gave Walter a grateful nod. The kind of nod men share when there are no words big enough. Walter stood beside Clint, wiping his hands on an old rag. Clint, grinning. "Feels like old times again, huh?" Walter watched the couple disappear down the road, dust curling behind the tires. Walter, quietly smiling. "No, feels better, because now they know what we stand for." IronRoots was reborn, and so was the trust it stood for. If that inspired you, hit subscribe and join us for more real stories that prove integrity still matters.